So there's been times in your life when you've seek validation. Validation that something happened, validation that your emotions were real, validation that someone understood where you were coming from. Yet, when you are the type of person who um, desires validation, you may intentionally avoid validating others while attracting people that require validation. So let's get into it. So anytime there's something that you may be missing within a lifetime, a parent, your parent could have passed when you were younger. They could have not been in your life. You could have once wanted someone to validate, any type of like trauma that you have experienced in your life, and that it was real to you, or just to hear you, or to validate that that could be hard, or that could be traumatic, or that could be something in the magnitude, not even at the magnitude that you believe it was, but just like it held weight. So you wanted to validate that that thing, acknowledgement that that thing existed, bringing someone else into awareness that may be able to help you process it. But in the meantime, you attract what you are. So you attract people that need validation. So you may have ended up in relationships, or maybe in a relationship where someone always wants you to pat them on the back for every little thing that they do. You then have to look at your life and see the areas where you want someone to acknowledge how you have accomplished things. So when I was younger, I probably have in different areas, I think we all seek some type of validation. And so when I was at jobs, I wanted to be appreciated. Certain jobs, I wanted them to say, acknowledge that they appreciated the things that I did. And most of the time it was because I was giving more than my job description. And so desiring someone to validate or to appreciate who we are is looking for something outside of ourselves that we are actually supposed to be able to do for ourselves. And when we are codependent on other people to give that to us, it creates a very toxic relationship where, much like yourself, the people that you want it from may start withholding it from you because they know that that's what you need in order for you to feel whole. Not that they don't want you to feel whole, but they probably don't want to hear you bragging. They probably don't want to hear you being overly confident or arrogant, or constantly talking about how you were the one who basically was carrying things on your back. They may be more team oriented, team minded, where they know what their role is, even from maybe like a tribal type mentality or a team mentality. They know what their role is, so they may not seek validation because they understand that their part is all that they're supposed to do. And anything they do beyond that is actually a gift to the team. So I came into this knowledge not only in my personal relationships, but in my business relationships. So when you're a person who seeks validations, you want your clients to actually acknowledge that they appreciate you, that what you offer is like, more than they could have ever gotten from somewhere else. It's a pat on the back. In your personal life, you may want, even your children to acknowledge that you were a good parent. Or you want your parents to acknowledge that you have come a long way from who you used to be. Like, this is something where this seeking validation comes from the reward system that is put in place within our school systems and at home, where if you're good, you are able to receive praise and all types of accolades for that type of stuff. And if you're bad, you receive punishments. And so there are people who want validation, but who know that they have no intention of going above and beyond, yet they're used to receiving the punishment, the conversation about how you're not doing what you're supposed to do, how you're not living up to, this standard of, like, you may be doing the bare minimum of what you're supposed to be doing at work, and then people know that they can only hold you to your job description, and that's it. In your family dynamics, you may be the person who has the patience for something, but you also don't have the time or the ability to schedule that thing into your everyday day-to-day life. This happens even with when parents get older and children are trying to figure out who's going to take care of the parent and how they're all going to pitch in. And some people aren't good at scheduling. Some people are not good at coordinating. So many times you will have somebody, most of the time it's called the matriarch of the family, who's the older one who actually does that. But just because of your position as the oldest one, it seems like you should be the one doing it. You may not be the one who can coordinate. You may not be the one who can schedule. Actually, you may not be the one that has the mental capacity to actually validate different systems and putting things in place, or to validate people and help them to and corral them into doing things. So if that's not your strong suit and somebody else is, actually is better at doing that, what you may want to do is be more of a team leader. Being a team leader, because even family, you can run your family schedules and different things like that as a business. I always tell my friends and my clients, your children are a business. Your family is a business. And if you run it like a corporation, if you run it in a way that is very structured, things will flow exactly as they're supposed to, and everyone will be in the knowledge of what is supposed to happen and how it's supposed to happen. There won't be no questions. There's no room for errors. And if it is, then everybody understood that the foundation was already in place. And most of the time, when something goes wrong, it's because somebody decided that how things were done foundationally was not working. Now, it doesn't have to be hardwired that we absolutely have to do this. That's where flexibility comes in, because everybody does not do everything well. So you might be the person who coordinates and schedules and directs the team, but there may be people who might want to send some input in, because even businesses, they might want to put the input in, but you might think it's too new age. The reason that older people and younger people are put in the same setting is so that the ideas can then become more, they can continue on, they can be expand more, not so that the company or the area of where you're working can stay in the same old systems as possible. The things that have worked for so long, this has worked. This is, we shouldn't allow this to evolve with technology. So it's like when I went to go get my transcripts from school, I went to a school that had my report cards on microfiche. Microfiche is literally, everybody don't know what microfiche is, but it's this clear paper where they imprinted ink on it, and you can actually put it on top of light and it will project it forward. So it's kind of like a film. All of our records were on microfiche. It's the system that they've used. It works well from them. They can print it off of there. And so they have many, many files of microfiche. Now, there is so many computer programs, other ways that these things can be implemented, but they do not want to implement those different changes or automate it in any way. So if your records are before a certain, and I think it was like before 1990 or something like that, or not, I think it was 2000, you're not getting your files online. It's not in the file. It's not in the computer, and you actually have to go there. You have records in a computer, but you don't have your actual records that you need, your transcripts. And so life is like that as well. So when you're wanting someone to validate you or to bring awareness to something or to be accepted. Many times what you're looking for outside of yourself is what is actually what's within us. And when you are surrounded by people who want the same thing but you decide that you don't want to give it to them, you're virtually saying, I don't deserve what it is that I'm asking for because I cannot give it to other people or will not.